Dog, don't be a bitch. Let's talk some numbers here.
Hello, my Trigger Happy friends. My name is Stevie Cade, and welcome to Film Trigger. Yes, I know I've been gone for a while. I haven't posted a video in about a month. It's been driving me crazy, but as you can see, I've been busy. I got a new studio all set up. It's a little different. You might notice in the next few videos I might change things, move things around a little bit just to see how it works. But let me know what you guys think of the new setup, and was it worth the wait? And if it wasn't, well, shit, sorry. Today's video is the ranking of all the live action Superman movies. That's right, we're still doing that series because COVID, right? Can we blame it on the national pandemic? I think we can blame it on the national pandemic. But before we get started, if you could, hit that subscribe button and the little bell ding thing so you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's dive into my ranking of all the live action Superman films. And coming in at number 7 is the one that you guys probably guessed would be number 7, and that's Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Which sucked. Like, seriously, it's bad. It's not like Batman and Robin bad, where you can watch it and be like, okay, we can kind of laugh at it. I mean, I guess you can, but it's not as funny as much as just depressing. It's pretty much a prime example of why you don't let your actors normally take control of production or directing without somebody assisting them, especially Christopher Reeve, because he was a double-edged sword in this movie in the sense that his Superman performance is, well, consistent. He's just as Superman-y as he was in the other films, which is what everyone liked him for, and that's great. But his involvement in this film helped form the shit show that this movie became. Yeah, there was really no real direction. That plus studio involvement, and like I think they cut the budget like almost in half, like the day before they started shooting. The movie is just riddled with very odd plot conveniences, random as fuck Superman powers, a weak story, and an even weaker villain, Nuclear Man. Oh, so bad, so bad. And as I mentioned previously, the studio had cut the budget nearly in half, so how do we get the most out of our money? By using the same shots over and over and over again. Using lower quality green screen and those wire things to make him look like he's flying. It's really bad. So obviously this movie was a major decrease in quality, and it's one of those, I don't really care if I'll ever see it again. If I do watch it again, it's because I'm with somebody who has never seen it and they're very curious to see just how bad it is. That might be the situation in which I watch this movie again. Coming in at number 6 is Superman 2. That's right, it's not a terrible movie, but it's not a great movie either. I mean, it does keep my attention and it's fairly entertaining, but I am very aware of, again, studio involvement and them replacing the directors, and just, you have two different visions going on here. It's very apparent throughout the whole film. And they're contrasted in two different ways. Richard Donner compared to Richard Lester, it's just one had a more serious take and the other one was more comic booky, which isn't, neither one's bad, but put together, it just became a very inconsistent film. And this film was actually shot with Superman 1 because it was supposed to be one complete story, which we never got because, again, studio involvement brought in Richard Lester instead to finish out the film after firing Donner for a variety of different reasons that really weren't good ones. Which brings me to the Donner cut. Now, I can't really put the Donner cut on this list because it didn't have a theatrical release, but if I were to put the Donner cut on this list, I would actually put it tied with Superman 2, the theatrical version, because even though it is more of a complete story of what Donner wanted, it's still a Frankenstein mess of a film where he had to repurpose test footage and actually give us the same exact ending, spoiler alert, as Superman 1. So like if you watch Superman 1 and then the Donner cut of Superman 2, both movies end in the same exact way. Now, I will say, if the Donner cut was the actual theatrical release, we got to see what he really wanted to do, I think this movie would be much higher on my list, but we didn't. and it's not. And it ties with the theatrical one. It wasn't such a tonal mess, but it was a Frankenstein movie. Superman 2 was more fluid-ish, but the tone was drastically different from scene to scene. So for those reasons, Superman 2 and the Donner Cut actually land at number 6 on this list. Coming in at number 5, Superman, the movie. That's right, the first one comes in at number 5 on this list. I mean, overall, this was a very well-crafted film, especially for its time. I often compare it to Star Wars, you know, like how the quality that Star Wars put out is what Superman the movie put out. Just a very unexpected, high-quality, very well-thought-out film. And Christopher Reeve does such a good job as Superman. He embodied that character so well that people still today have a hard time of letting him go. And rightfully so. But, you know, times they are a-changing, so move forward. And Richard Donner's love for the film really shines through this movie. You can tell he actually cared about these characters and how they got where they were and the story he was telling about them. But personally, I am not a huge fan of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor or Margot Kidder's Lois Lane. I think they're just not good in any way or any shape or form. Gene Hackman just plays Gene Hackman. He's just any copy and paste bad guy. I mean, I see Lex Luthor as a very powerful, smart, and rich man. The only reason why I know that he's powerful, rich, and smart in this movie, and that's because he keeps telling us that throughout the entire film. It gets quite obnoxious.
How do you choose to congratulate the greatest criminal mind of our time? You tell me that I'm brilliant, charismatic, fiendishly gifted.
It just doesn't play well for me, not in what I expect from Lex Luthor. And even as a child, that character never stuck out to me. It's no shame against Gene Hackman. I just don't think it was the right person for the role. And again, Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. She's a fucking psycho. At no point in time does she seem like she cares about anybody else but herself. She gets mad at Clark for saving her life. She's very awkwardly obsessed with Superman, and like, not because, you know, he's a nice guy or, you know, she's actually in love with him. I believe that she just wants some Superman dick because she just wants the street cred. That's what I think. She wants the bragging rights that she got with Superman. That's how I feel about that Lois Lane. Just doesn't do it for me, and that's what brings this movie down a peg on my list. Moving right along with number 4 on my list is Superman 3. Yes, Superman 3 actually got the better of the original 2. And that's because it was a consistent film through and through. I mean, Superman 1 was a good, consistent film, but again, Margot Kidder, Gene Hackman kind of ruined that movie for me, and well, they're not in this one. And Richard Lester got to drive this movie from beginning to end, so there's one vision. And this movie tells you exactly what it is from the get-go. You get this mousetrap domino effect comedy bit. You're like, oh, well, I guess that's the kind of movie we're gonna get. And you're right, that is the movie that you get. And it's like that all the way through, which makes it pretty enjoyable for me. Coupled with Richard Pryor being in this film, which I do think he needed a more prominent, heartfelt role than he got, but he does bring a laughter to the movie. And I enjoyed it. I enjoy every aspect of this film, especially Lana Lane, because Lana Lane is who I think Christopher Reeve's Superman should be with. She's way better than Lois Lane. She's not a bitch. So that's good. She seems genuine. She seems heartfelt, and she likes Clark Kent because of Clark Kent. Unlike Lois, who can't stand Clark Kent because, well, he's just a goofball, and I'm obsessed with Superman because he's the rock star. Lana Lang has a very heartfelt, genuine care for Clark Kent, and you can see that relationship really, it just holds better for me. It sucks that we never see her again after this film because that would have been awesome, but, you know, we got Quest for Peace after this, so we're just gonna chalk that up to the wind, I guess. But also in this film, we get to see Superman battle himself, his inner demons. Physically, like, it's an emotional battle, but it's illustrated with him fighting himself. You get this dingy suit Superman who likes to drink and just kind of be an asshole to people. It's really our first evil Superman, which is pretty cool, but he's not really evil. I wouldn't call him evil Superman. I would just call him asshole Superman. That's because he's just kind of being an asshole to people, just doing things because I'm asshole Superman. That's what I do. Let me just put a hole in this oil rig. Why? Because fuck the ocean. There's like no real reason behind him being evil. He's just doing things because they're mean. But overall, I can watch this movie and enjoy it from beginning to end. And a lot of that has to do with nostalgia, because growing up, this was my favorite Superman movie, and now I know why. Because it's honestly a fun Superman movie. It's more comic booky, it's not so serious, which I do like the more serious Superman movies. But choose one tone and roll with it, and I will jump on board if it's done well. And this one did it well. So, good job, Superman 3. Rolling on down to number 3 on my list is Superman Returns. That's right, the movie people hate for some reason that I can't really understand. This movie got a lot of flack, and I'm not sure why, because everyone wanted the Christopher Reeve style Superman to come back, and that's what they gave him, and the people hated it. I guess they hated it? I don't know. Me watching this film, it seems like a very solid Superman movie. And much like Superman 3, its tone is very consistent throughout the entire film. And I think where people got a disconnect is that we don't really know where this lands in the line of continuity of these films. Is it a sequel? Is it? Acts like it's supposed to be a sequel, but things are different enough to where it's not. It's almost an Elseworld story, if you will. One thing I really do believe could have helped with get rid of the confusion that surrounded this movie was maybe show some key scenes from the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, but reshot with this new cast in more of a modern time. So you're like, okay, this is kind of like the same movie. We're just kind of updating it and then making that a sequel. That would have made more sense, and I think people would have been able to grasp on it a little bit more. But I think the movie's solid. I think Kevin Spacey was a fantastic Lex Luthor. I mean, he was everything that Gene Hackman, I think, wanted to be. He took the qualities of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor and he made them make sense. And same with Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane. She seems more genuine. She seems like she actually cares about Clark and Superman on an intimate level. Unlike the Lois Lane that Margot Kidder gave us, again, as I said, just seems like she just wanted to be with Superman for bragging rights. So I think Bryan Singer did a really good job of showcasing these characters in the way that they needed to be showcased, but while keeping it in the same realm of the Christopher Reeve films. And Brandon Routh, or Ralph, I can never remember which one it is, the guy who played Superman, he did a fantastic job himself. Now here's the thing, is he's no Christopher Reeve, and you're right, and that's a good thing in my opinion, because to me, Christopher Reeve was way up here, while everybody else in the cast was way down here. In this movie, they kind of even out to make the movie seem more balanced. The story is being told very well by Bryan Singer. It's a very fluid story told. The plot itself is a little iffy. You know, the whole Lex Luthor plot of land sort of thing. Okay. We can poke a lot of holes through that. And yeah, the plot's not all that great. But the Superman movie itself is solid, and that's why it's number 3 on my list. Now, we're down to the top 2, and if you guys watched my Batman ranking series, I was very curious to see where BVS and Man of Steel would land on this list. Which one will I pick as number 2 and number 1? And it took me a very long time to actually figure out which one I want to do. I literally flip-flopped back and forth between which one would go first here, but I ultimately made a decision, and that decision is, drum roll please, BVS as number 2 on my ranking. You can watch Man of Steel as a standalone movie, and it's perfect as is. BVS, you have to watch the other films to kind of get caught up of what's going on, and it does pack a lot of stuff in there. Now, if I were to choose which one of these movies I want to see in theaters again, I would totally choose BVS because it's a much bigger film. It really, really is, and that's why I love it so much. It's just out of this world, just comic books in a real world setting, and I love that. But Man of Steel just has this really humbleness behind it, and Man of Steel really dives deep into Clark Kent's journey into Superman, and also it gives Martha Kent and Jonathan Kent a much more fulfilling backstory. His character is developed by his parents constantly letting him make decisions. or helping him through very tough times as he's trying to understand his powers or who he is or why he is. So when Clark Kent actually finds Jor-El, you don't feel robbed like I did in Christopher Reeve's Superman the movie. I felt that when he found Jor-El, he was like, oh, well, Jor-El, you're my real dad. Forget these guys. This movie, Jonathan and Martha Kent really get the respect they deserve. And Michael Shannon as Zod is, to me, the best villain in any comic book movie I've ever seen. I put Zod and Thanos right on the same level. And the reason why I compare those two, because those are two powerhouse villains. Except Thanos took many years to build up to, and Zod was in a one and done movie. But Michael Shannon really sold his integrity and intensity in this film.
I have no people. My soul. That is what you have taken from me.
And the overall story is just phenomenally told. Zack Snyder is a great storyteller, which is why this film is arguably one of the greatest and underrated comic book movies of all time. I know some people hate it, and that's up to you. You guys can be wrong all day. Yeah, I said it. But to me, Man of Steel is at number 1 on this list. And we're done with this series, finally. Only took 10 months to do it. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I got more review series lined up, ready to roll, including a special Halloween series that I'm really excited to do. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but I'll give you a little hint. Anyhow, let me know what your ranking is in the comments below. I'm very curious to see where you put these movies, and don't forget to add BVS on that list as well. Also, be sure to check out some more of my videos, and as always, stay trigger happy, my friends.